I can see Mr. I can see in my screen directly Mr. Kalpati Ishwaran. Maybe his experience is my age. That's it. So I'm only able to see four of you in the screen because I'm operating through the mobile today. So my namaskaras to everyone who has taken time out. So there are a couple of pointers which Dr. Priya mentioned, that we will learn a few techniques which we can do every day to boost our immunity levels and also stamina. Obviously, if immunity is good, stamina also will be good in the mental and emotional dimension. And then learn a bit about Yoga Nidra process. Incidentally, today morning, 10 o'clock only, the live session was there for all of people saw what is Yoga Nidra and experienced a small session, because Government of India has designated this entire month starting from June 1st and culminating on June 21st to celebrate yoga. And then finally, what is there for a career option in yoga? So these three, I think, are the broad pointers given to me. And of course, some time to interact to understand some questions and doubts which may be there. So if any of you have some definitions or idea of yoga, I'm just leaving the floor open. So I don't want to assume anything because I see it's a diverse group. So it is better for me to first listen from each of you at least 10-20 seconds of what you think is yoga, or what do you expect to get out of this session. We have some 45 minutes or 50 minutes with us. So it's better we tailor make it to whatever you need. So whoever wants to go first, you can please feel free to unmute and ask or share what according to you is yoga.
I feel yoga is a sadhana. So we need to work on it to get the maximum output out of it. That's what I feel.
Okay. So then, anybody else?
Yoga is a way of life.
Fantastic. Good. Anyone else? Yeah, union of body and mind. Okay. And in between, if you have anything, please unmute and say or share. Don't need to restrict yourself. And my request is that let's try not to judge or assume anything. And whatever we conclude, let's take the lessons out at 8:30. So please feel free. Okay, so predominantly when you use the word yoga in today's context, it is seen as I am going to a yoga class. So that means you are going to practice the postural side of yoga, right? That is how many of us say, I am morning 6 o'clock, I am going to the yoga class, like that. So, but here, as they both said, it is actually a way of life in which asana is one aspect. So when someone said the union of mind and body, the body and mind needs to be in sync. Basically, how we can understand this, the moment you use the word yoga, it presupposes there are two things. Because it comes from the root word yuj. Yuj means to unite. Only if two things are there, you need to unite, no? If only one thing is there, you don't need it. So that is a very advanced level where in Vedanta they say that one willed and became many. But we are all in the transactional operational level, correct? We need a poles. You need a North Pole, South Pole, man, woman, war, peace, whatever we see, play, pain, pleasure, day, night. Our life is transactional and between the poles. So how we understand yoga is coming together of two things. You can decide which two things. Like one of you said, mind and body. Meaning, whatever you are conceiving in the mind, your body should be able to execute. Because mind is the software, body is the hardware. So coming together of that in the way of thought, word, and action could be considered as yoga. And when you said yoga as a posture, still you feel that health is there and you are there. Your present state is there and health is there. You need to get them together. So you do a process by which you can reach there. So Dr. Priya used a good word, I think, sadhana. Sadhana is what? It's just a Sanskrit word. The meaning of sadhana is a process. Because I keep telling in all the international forums, language is just a mode of communication. Language has nothing to do with religion. This we have to be very clear. Because now I am talking to you, talking with all of you in English. It doesn't make me from the West or a Christian. Similarly, if we use any word in Indian language or Sanskrita, it doesn't mean we are addressing a Hindu. This notion we should knock off. Then only it is easy for us to learn. For example, if you are studying botany, they will say, we will say at home it is Tulsi plant, right? But a botanist will say Osimum sanctum. That's a technical name. Like that, this word sadhana is in Sanskrita and is in many languages, almost all languages in India. So what is sadhana? Is a set of process. For what? To reach the goal. Goal is called sadhya. Sadhya means goal. So Karnataka also, in Kannada also we have this word right? Eshtu sadhya aguttho ashtu madi. Whatever you can. Sadhya means it's a goal. Sadhana means the process. Then who is the person involved in it? He is called a sadhaka. The problem comes when we bifurcate our life into spiritual and material. Traditional living across globe, they never separated. Like, how many of us can say, whatever happens to me at home, I will leave it at home. That is my personal life. It will never interfere in my profession. If you had fought with your spouse, you had an argument with your children, it will reflect. When you come to your office, you will scold your attendant. They don't even know why they got the scolding. Or sometimes you pick up the phone and blast your friend. They don't even know why you blasted them. Because the problem comes when you compartmentalize life as spiritual, material, personal, private. This don't have any meaning. Just to understand, we need to compartmentalize. But once you want to integrate the understanding, you should take life as a whole. So what is that? Let us take the example of, we have our dentist, Dr. Priya. So what is her goal? Her goal is whichever patient comes to them, she has to take them towards the wellness. That is the goal, which is a sadhya. And she is a sadhaka, meaning she is a doctor. What is the sadhana she does? She ensures that, like how she prepares the home for the puja. I have visited her her clinic, the things are much cleaner than how it is in the puja room. That is how we treat our work is worship and worship is work. So the process she does to fix the root canal is the sadhana. That is the way we need to understand our stuff. So first is we have to stop compartmentalizing it. That is the first union in understanding we should have, that spiritual material, that union of understanding that it is life. That's it. Okay. So now what happens? Somebody is in an advanced age, they may need more stretches and pranayama. Correct? Somebody who is into a management consulting and all that, they may need some philosophy from the traditional systems plus something to keep going on with their health. So what the traditional yoga schools will do, assess you individually and then give you the set of processes which are needed for you. Correct? When a financial consultant is there, now 23, 25 of us are here. They will not give a blanket consultation. But what they will say, certain rules they will say are common, but they will customize the solution to each of you. So this is exactly happens in traditional yoga. Depending on your age, depending on your profession, depending on your cultural background. For example, I can see people of multiple religious backgrounds here. So if a Muslim comes to study, what they will do? the teacher will ask them to take a tasbih from their the whichever mosque they are connected. Tasbih is equivalent to the mantra in the Sanatana Dharma. If a Christian wishes to practice something with the mind, they will say, take the name of the Lord. But what is mentioned in the Bible? In the beginning, there was a word. The word was with God, and God is that word. That means what? This sound we call as mantra. A Christian will call it the name of the Lord. A Muslim will call it tasbih. That's a mantra. I'm giving you a broad idea because we should not confuse with what is happening in the market. For mental alignment, whichever religion we follow, we need a sadhana. You understood now where I am coming to? So we should remove all the things which are differentiating us and use the strength of whichever culture and faith we are following. Because someone said alignment of body and mind, right? I think Mr. Raghu was mentioning about it. So what are the things which you can use for connecting your body and mind? You can easily pick up from whichever culture and the faith you are following from. The second thing is, whichever gives you alignment, you can call it as yoga. How? Suppose you go to a country where there is no yogasana, but they may be practicing Tai Chi, Kung Fu, Karate, Judo, some cardio exercises. Ultimately, if you are engaged in an activity which is keeping you scientifically in a healthy way, you can treat that as yoga, equivalent to yogasana itself. So we don't need to break our head. Only when I do this, is it yogasana? What is yoga asana? Any posture in which you are balanced is that. That balance is done by a Kung Fu person, a karate practitioner also, right? Are you understanding? And a person who is practicing martial arts and yoga, naturally there will be a calmness and collected way in which they think and act. So again, we have to stay away from, okay, someone is coming from the coastal side. Let them do Kalaripaitu. You understood? Someone is a dancer. They can practice mudra along with the Kathak dance or whatever dance they form. So the yogasana term also has been left like that. So the tradition will decide whether whatever you are doing can come under this, whether it is giving you a balance of mind and body. So because I see a lot of very senior statesmen here, I want to give you a big overview of exactly the system. It's not just some 100 postures written in the book. You need to take it as yoga asana. Here the word yoga means balance. Asana means posture. So any posture which gives you a state of balance in the body and mind can be treated as yoga asana. Is it clear? Am I saying something very fast or is it okay? Yeah. So this is the background of understanding how the tradition works. This is the reason we have been alive for thousands of years. Because whatever happens, yes, like in dance as well. So when you sit and practice like this, today we are going to see a couple of mudras. It is called a mudra, but a dancer is anyway doing it. And even when a child monitoring the class in the school also does a mudra, like will say, shh, keep quiet. I've been asked to mind the class. What is that? That's a mudra. So we need to free our mind of lot of notions. Any gesture which helps a particular lock to be enabled. Their silence is the lock. So like this, the traffic signal is shown, the police shown, that's a mudra. But if the same hand is in the goddess, it is called Abhaya Mudra. That means, don't worry, I am there. When you go sobbing when you are in school to your mother, what the mother will say, hey, don't worry, I am there. What she's not doing like this, that means it's literally scolding or giving you something. It could be tappat also. But when you say, don't worry, stay calm, I am there. So that is in mudra called Abhaya Mudra. When a police person, traffic police say, that means, don't worry, you stop, I am managing the signal. You understood? This is how we have to understand the systems, not in the narrow prism of religion. It is a way of life. Like Tejaswini Jayasimha very fantastically said, it's a way of life. We need to integrate and understand that. So this is how the things work. Now what happened, which was practiced for thousands of years, there came a time there needed a standard manual. Correct? Like you have an ISO 9000, ISO 14,000 manuals are there. So if you whichever field of study you take, there are some standards which are there. Correct? No? So what happened? Patanjali was the great saint who wrote something called Yoga Sutra. So what he said, you do whatever you want, but if it is conforming to this definition, you can call it asana. You practice breathing technique whichever way you want. But if the breathing technique is giving you this result, that means it comes under pranayama. You understood, no? The reason is 20 years back, if we are having this session, first of all, there was no Zoom. Second, most of us would be in a traditional attire. Today, somebody is in salwar, somebody is in sari, somebody is in a dress. The reason is, depending on the times, we need to evolve the method of communication and adapting it. Correct? That is the strength of the tradition. It sees the essence only. What is the point in sitting exactly like how they were sitting 50 years back, but not understanding anything or not practicing anything? There's no fun in it, right? So the person who is there present, giving value to the subject, is given more importance. This is also mentioned. So what Yoga Sutras Patanjali did, he structured the entire study and he called it as the 8 limbs of yoga. That means if you follow these limbs, you will get yoga as a way of life. So the first two are called personal code and social code and personal code. He gave 5 in the social code, like ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigraha. That means he said, develop the ability to not be a non-injurious
Your voice is slightly breaking, Mr. Krishna Prakash. Your voice is slightly breaking. They're not able to hear you. Mr. Krishna Prakash, your voice is breaking. Not able to hear you clearly.
Thought, word, deed don't injure anybody. Then satya. Speak
Mr. Krishna, your voice is
truth which
breaking.
will save you and others. And white lie is also.
Dear members, I think so. There's some network issues and Krishna's voice was breaking. I'm just trying to connect back with him.
Is audibility good now?
Yeah, now it is good, Mr. Krishna.
Yeah.
We lost you. Yeah.
Yes, it locked me up. Sometimes it happens here. It's fine. So In fact, this is also example only. They say, no, don't sweat the small stuff, something like that. We can only do the best. The laptop, which was working the whole day to take the session conked off, the mobile signal is behaving odd. It's okay. We can't do anything about it. We have done our best, right? We should not break our head too much about this. So, where were we? We were in the 8 limbs of yoga. So, he said that if a society follows ahimsa, practices satya, and stays away from non-stealing. Non-stealing means not only objects but people's ideas and other things as well. And brahmacharya. Here, what is brahmacharya? Brahmacharya is interpreted as celibacy. That is for monks. But for householders like us, it is moderated living. Meaning you enjoy life, don't get consumed by life. You understood? Like living in society and being an extreme consumerist. Like that's the difference. That is brahmacharya means striking a balance between being a spendthrift and a miser. You take the mid path. Why it is said you have 5 senses, no? Hearing, touch, all that. We need to have a balanced view of life through these 5 senses. Then you have something called aparigraha, which is greediness. Suppose if a society is not having any violence, it is people are ready to speak the truth. Stealing is not there. People are behaving with their senses, and there is nobody greedy. Such a society is an ideal society, right? So he said these 5 are social code. 1 minute. 8:30 mein phone karta hu. Then finally he said there are 5 more qualities which are like cleanliness, contentment, uh, doing a lot of hard work in whichever area we choose. Then you have self-study, and finally surrender. When you have these 5 qualities, your journey of self-discovery to know about you and your profession will be increased. So these 5 plus 5 form the first 2 limbs of yoga. The third limb is called the asana. Here also the practitioner is better they sit with the teacher and understand what suits them and practices those steps only, not everything what everyone practices. Correct? One man's food is another man's poison. We need to be very, very careful. What's an example? Suppose some of us here, because of our desk job, we may have knee problems, neck problem, or low back. So our postures should be having more of this. Correct? Particularly for a dentist, there'll be one side the chair is there, the neck, the wrist, and one side of the hip will be having problem because you need to lean and you can't work on both sides because the left side generally the patient spits, right, doctor? The right side you will be standing. So one side you will be always literally abusing the body. Correct? So you need to do corrective postures for this balancing, getting the balance in the body because balance is yoga. So the routine given to Dr. Rekha will be completely different from what is given to Mr. Ishwaran who is there or Tejaswini Desima or Jacob, whoever is there. Correct? Because it depends on that. Then the pranayama techniques. Pranayama techniques are given also based on what is your need. For example, today we are going to practice a pranayama technique which helps us to improve immunity, which is scientifically studied at Janaki Ayurveda College in Nepal. That 600 minutes of practice of this particular technique builds the immune levels. Second, it reduces the thoughts in the mind. Correct? Because thoughts are many times they wreck us or they make us. So the thought management is always not possible by thinking that I'm overthinking. Many of us do that, but we don't know what to do to stop overthinking. So this technique is given. So today we will see that technique. Then there is the fifth limb of yoga is called pratyahara. Pratyahara means withdrawal. Correct? Like when you go to ATM, you go to ATM because you need to withdraw so that you can utilize that resource for something else. Please correct me if I am wrong. Otherwise, why you will go to an ATM? To check the balance, your mobile is there. I'm just giving you an example. Whenever you are withdrawing, you always withdraw with the purpose. For example, when you withdraw from your office work, you are ready to be with your home people at home. When you withdraw from your mobile and computer, you are ready to read a book. Am I right? Today also, you are withdrawing from all the rooms in your home or your business and sitting in one place. You can be in every place. Maybe your home has 5 rooms, or office has 20 rooms or cubicles. But you have withdrawn yourself from all the places and you're available in one place, right? So you want to know what is going on. So if we have to really go deep to understand ourselves, we should know mechanisms to withdraw and what to do when you are withdrawing. Because if you don't know what to do when you withdraw, you will become depressed. So Yoga Nidra is one such practice which helps in withdrawal. Then the next limb is called Dharana, which is concentration. Not only children, even today we need some techniques to focus and concentrate on the work in hand, or while cooking something or preparing tea or preparing a document or delivering a talk. We need concentration. So some techniques are that develop concentration. Then the seventh limb is called meditation, wherein you pick up the process like I was mentioning to you. It could be a mantra, the name of the Lord, or you get a tasbih and hold on to it so that you become one with it. Because some method we should have to work with our mind, which is not to do with our day-to-day job. For example, if you observe the story of Archimedes, right? He was only thinking about the question the king asked about the impurities in the gold, right? But only when he left that thought, he got the solution. So the mind needs to be engaged sometimes in a thing which is not your routine, so that your routine becomes better. Correct? So for that, some kind of sound you need to pick up from the tradition with which you are belonging and make it your daily practice. Correct? And finally, the eighth limb is called Samadhi. Samadhi means transcending this transactional world and staying one with ourselves. Okay, so these are the 8 limbs given by Patanjali. And there are other aspects like Mudra, Kriya, which are taken from the system of Tantra, which are helping us to live a complete life. Any observations or doubt till now? All of them are listening, or
I hope they've not started doing Yoga Nidra already. No, it's all clear. It's fine.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
go.
Yeah, okay. So because I thought we'll start some process. If they all come on camera, it will be easy. Some techniques I wanted to share. A mudra, that clapping technique, and so the breathing technique. Okay, and if you have any doubt, you can tell. If I am doing something incorrect also, you can tell, because no one can know everything. Okay. So what we will do is, whenever today, apart from the pandemic situation also, many times we use this word prana in our languages, right? Why are you, yake prana tinta idepa, and we ask. That means it is not the breath we are talking about. You're talking about your life force. So there is a mudra, which is specifically for increasing the pranic levels in the body. So what happens? You need to practice this with a straight back and chest wide open. You are able to see this mudra. I'm going to forward this book to Dr. Priya, and I'll request her to share with her chapter mates here. Okay. So this is, sorry, your Rotary Club chapter word is coming. See, this is the Prana Mudra. Is it clear to all of you? You are able to see? Yeah. Okay. So what we need to do, don't need to press too much. It is like enough. It's like electricity. Many people will go and touch in the left hand as if there will be no shock. Unknowingly, we think in left you can do, but shock is a shock. You touch some like that similar. Don't need to press too much and all that. Gently, but these two fingers should be together, and this mudra has to be practiced with the palms open to the roof. So open out your chest. Don't sit very tight, but just open out your chest and hold the mudra. And with eyes closed, Without making noise, you inhale and exhale as deep as possible and fill in your lungs. If you're sitting in air conditioner office, just don't do anything. Keep your eyes closed, and with the mudra, you just sit. Okay, for the next minute, we'll maintain silence. With the open chest, we will inhale and exhale as deep as possible without making any noise. A few blinks, you can open your eyes. So when can we practice this? Suppose you feel less energy is there, or you are losing your concentration. You need some patience. Sometimes you know that you don't need to get angry, but you are feeling angry because you are feeling low energy levels. It is humanly to feel like that. So what you do is you just sit quiet with this mudra. Somebody wants to shout at you, don't worry. And it is not new to anybody who is married. It will happen. So you just sit quiet, watch television, listen to them. That is audio video at home. Radio means only audio. You can just sit quiet like this, breathe in and out deep, and have a smiling face. Sometimes the person who is taking off on you will feel amused also. Why it is important to have the face? Face is the index of the mind. Many people who are meditating for 20 years, 30 years, I'm sure Mr. Ishwaran from Kalpati, I think he's from Kalpati Agraharam, no? There are many people who do puja meditation for many years, 20 years, 30 years. They will say, I am doing sadhana for 50 years. But they'll be the most angriest person on the earth. Why they do? They are pursuing their sadhana as if they are pursuing their business goal. Very strict face, as if they had an ounce of castor oil before doing sadhana. Such people will only have frictions within themselves and others. So the first thing is, when you have any mudra or doing something consciously, even if you don't need to smile, you keep a neutral face. Don't need to keep a long face. As it is full life, we are rocking around like that. So when you are having a pleasant face disposition, a smiling disposition, what happens is the body and mind relaxes. Correct? So when you get time, you go and study how many muscles are involved in smiling and how many involved in
Not able to hear you, Mr. Krishna. He is logging back. Please, members, bear with us.
Okay.
Yes,
Like my college professor, Zoom is sending me out and in again and again. Say, go out. Last bench, go out. Okay. So we need to have that pleasant disposition. So what happens when you are with yourself, you use any mudra of your choice. But when you feel less energy, practice prana mudra, because this prana mudra is in charge of your respiratory system, lungs and the chest. Keep it open with smiling face, gently breathe in and breathe out. After some time, you don't even need to breathe heavily in and out. You will feel the breath deepening. So what happens? Many of the immunity issues start with the mind, because there is so much going on in the mind. It is reflecting in the body as a disease or a disorder. So when you practice this prana mudra, first it increases the prana energy levels in your body, which is nothing but the life force. Okay, it will help you to be much more stable. So whether there is corona or not, problem is there or not, we continue to be stable and steady. Correct? This is the first mudra. To revise, this is the way it is done. Always practiced upwards. Okay. The second thing is a simple technique called a clapping technique, which has 28 important points in your body are there in your hands out of 340 points. So when you go to a doctor, the doctor will touch here and check. Correct? Similarly, there are points all through the body. These points are called in the Siddha tradition as Varma points. In Ayurveda, it is called Marma points. In Ayurveda, you have 107 points in the body, and the 108th is your mind. So either we reset the thinking process in the mind so that it energizes the 107 points, and we are not there. So we come from the outside in. We work with the points and then get into the mind. And you add another 200 plus points in the Siddha tradition, the Tibet medicine, Chinese medicine, all the meridians, it comes to 340 points. Out of that, 28 important points are on our hands. Okay. So we are going to learn some techniques and more with the hand. Still have a experience here. Feedback to our doctor. But I'll also your chest and then adopt this technique with your hand. Okay. So why this tingling sensation on the palm is important is then only you have done it right. It should become red and pinkish. And it is an important exercise because I see a lot of hair assembled or above 50. The arthritis issues, the joint issues start to come in the body after 45 or 50. When you do clapping techniques at least 3 times a day, 120 strokes each, in 3 weeks, you will see a big difference. That is why people who are practicing in the park in the name of laughter yoga, they have to clap and then laugh, like how a child claps and laughs, right? You should not just laugh like that. So this laughter yoga technique is mainly based, like Dr. Madan Kataria is a medical doctor. He and his wife have developed it like that. So you try it with yourself, 120 strokes at your own pace. So I'm going to give you the demonstration. Whoever wants, you can join. If you want to know how force, think you are slapping somebody. You'll get a lot of force. Okay. I just did 60 times because we have shortage of time and I just want to give you a demonstration. So how can you do? Before every meal, just clap 120 times if you're having at home. Don't do that at restaurant. Unless you want everybody to know the benefits of clapping, you can do. Nothing wrong in that. If you are such an outgoing person, you can please do that also. Nothing wrong. So before every meal, if you are at home, please clap. And you will see the sweat glands operating. You will feel, you can see already it is pinkish color. You have tingling sensation and it should slightly pain. No pain, no gain. Okay. Then get up, wash your hands because it will be sweating a bit. Then you have your food. So this is one important technique. The second technique is make a fist of your hand and you need to bang here completely as if you are, the Ayurveda massages, they'll be having a pouch and they'll be banging all over the body, right? Like that, your liver, kidney, spleen, heart, all the important vital organs, they are mapped to your here. So again, when you go to a general practitioner in olden days, they'll press here and say, oh, you had constipation, or you had this, they will ask, correct? So that is why this portion is important. I'll show you how to do 60 rounds you should do. I just did 20 because I am giving you a demonstration. Then the other hand also. Why we need to do here both? You'll see that one hand is not having that energy. Over a practice, you will know both will start developing the same dexterity. There are more than 8 techniques, but I'm going to share only 3, 4 of them today. So one was clapping, another is here. Okay. Then the most important portion for when we grow old, for men it's prostate and for women it is uterus, right? Those sensitive points are here. So what you can do 60 times, you can do like this. So when these young girls, kids come, not teenagers, generally they'll have PCOD, PCOS, obese. And they're not doing any work, bending. So apart from the asana, pranayama and the kriya, we teach them this. Correct? Here also you'll feel slightly pain will be there. So like this, some points are there. And some of that I'll share it with Dr. Priya. You can do it. And one day we can even just have a process session for those of you who are interested. Just a 20-minute session is enough for that. Okay. So what has happened? You have invigorated here. You have invigorated here. Then the back side. These people will know, whoever didn't study well in school, they will know. Correct? The ruler will be playing. The teacher will play drums here. This is the place. So again, you will find a bit painful, but please practice this 60 times. So what happens? Your health is in your hands. Whatever you are going to get the ill health due to your prarabdha, you cannot do anything. But today, it's like every day you get up and sweep the home. Today's housekeeping of health, you can do every day like this. Correct? So this is the technique for that. Now, third point which we have to address is, can yoga be a career option? Maybe your children or your grandchildren, you wish to share with them. Just tell them that it's more than $1 trillion industry. And now India is leading the certification norms. And today also I had a meeting with Delhi Public School North, the principal I met. We are working with Shishugraha and those schools because when the children they catch them young, they say, right? When you do that, their mental health also improves. Because of gadget usage, children do not have very active activity outside. Correct? So these kind of techniques, when you teach them, they see the discipline without telling anyone. Discipline improves, their health improves, the attention deficit is not too much. They're able to concentrate and focus better. So right from school till corporate, today if you see LinkedIn, there are wellness directors being hired. Earlier only HR people were there. So you can have wellness consulting. There's a big range of things you can do when you're armed with a certificate or a bachelor's or a master's degree in yoga. If any of the people connected with you want to know more, no axe to grind, just message me or mail me, I can guide them. Okay. So now the floor is open to questions, if any.
Dear Rotarians, if you have any questions, you can please go ahead and ask Mr. Krishna and or type it in the chat box. One last thing on yoga nidra was not touched upon. If you can just.
Okay, so I'll just tell a brief about it. Yoga nidra is the term which is known today, but all the women here who have undergone pregnancy have been practicing it unknowingly. In Ayurveda, it is called Garbha Samskara. Okay, so what you do is the system of Ayurveda tells the child which is born. In Ayurveda, you have this body type, no? Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. The child will have the predominant body type of the mother and the secondary body type is of the father. How it is determined? At the time of conception, whichever is there, the body dosha of the mother becomes the predominant of the child. The father's dosha becomes the secondary thing of the child. Then mind, majority of us, if you notice carefully, we would have, the way we speak and things would have been from the parents or father or the genetics, but the disposition of the mind will more be of the mother. Because the mind is the mother aspect, the intellect is the masculine aspect. So what happens when we practice Yoga Nidra? First, this balancing of this masculine and feminine will happen because the balance of that will happen in the body and the mind. So how this process is done? Initially, you are given a body relaxation. Before that, you will be taken through the sounds around so that the sensory inputs are first you familiarize with and then slowly withdraw from them. Like when people are shouting outside, you close the door and study. Something like that, right? You have to shut down and then you have to withdraw. Then when the instruction is taken through body part, we have something called a little man in the brain. It is in the frontal side. Like every home has a blueprint, correct? Then the architect gives you the blueprint and the builder develops it into a full-blown home. Suppose if I go behind um, uh, uh, Mr. Belgavi, who is there, if I go behind and touch him, the mid-back, keeping his eyes closed, he can tell somebody is touching on my mid-back. Because that receptor, the neuronic exchange is happening in the little man in the brain. Is it okay? So when you consciously slow down by just following the instructor and taking your awareness to each part of the body, that respective place in your little man starts to relax. This is where they have studied the alpha state, beta, gamma, theta, delta waves. Our brain emits waves, right? That can be measured. So a person is taken to alpha state relaxation when he or she follows the instruction quiet and they do it. Then the important aspect of Yoga Nidra is something called a resolve, which is called a sankalpa. Resolve is something you wish to come true in your life. So when can you think about it? When you are reasonably calm, right? So then the teacher sits with you and makes you understand how to filter the desires you have in life and pick and choose one. Is it okay? And then you use that as a seed in Yoga Nidra. Because you're preparing your mind and body like cultivation, you put the seed, which is the resolve, during the Yoga Nidra. Then you are taken through various emotions, sometimes in the deeper sessions. You also are taken through some visuals also. Because visuals, they say 20% of the learning or the brain's occupation, the things are occupied 20% in the imagery form, but learning 80% happens through images. So 20% of the brain, it is all tuned for this. So the visuals, what happens, it activates something called RAS, which is reticular activating system. For example, if you are speaking about a red color car to purchase, you have a heavy discussion at home. then that day you will see a lot of red cars in the road. Have any of you observed that? Same way, it is called RAS, reticular activating system, that you are consciously activating using Yoga Nidra. So what happens, if you remember, someone is preparing for IIT or IIM or some board exam, they will be somehow getting information about their field. Somehow information will start coming to them. They'll get into a WhatsApp group or search the internet because they become much focused. So what Yoga Nidra does, it calms the mind and body. It helps us to activate the reticular activating system. Imagine if one or two of your real desires in life can be manifested. Don't you feel relaxed, and will you not feel comfortable with life as a whole? This is what Yoga Nidra does. It scientifically helps you to relax, de-stress yourself, and manifest a few desires. So what I can do is I can share the many talks I have given, 2-3 talks which they can relate and practice. Along with the practice session, I can share with you. Whoever wants to go deep, they can go through the 20-minute recording of what Yoga Nidra is more about and do the practice session at the end of it. Okay, then you can give the feedback. So this is about Yoga Nidra, which helps you to relax, de-stress, and manifest your desires.
Thank you, Mr. Krishna.
Thank you.
Dear Rotarians, any questions? You can go ahead and ask.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Krishna Prakash. How important is breathing in all of this? Very briefly, if you could just say.
Yeah, only breath is
important aspect. I think we have a very short time, so we didn't deal much with it. So I just wanted your inputs on it.
Yeah, what you can do is you can catch hold of a good teacher and learn a simple technique called Brahmari. That is one. Second, breath is the only real thing. Now the connection kept coming and going. People entered the meeting, exited the meeting. Your dress changes. Your relationship with people change. Relationship with yourself changes. The one thing which is common is the breath. And the breath, when you understand and start observing, that breath will be very much like a friend which will elevate to prana. Otherwise, it's only swasam. What is? You are just taking in down out breath. When you inhale and exhale with good thoughts, positive energy, you will recharge yourself. So we need to understand everything else around is appearing real, which is not real. We have to connect something with Vedanta here and understand about breath. The only thing which is real right now is breath, without which we will not even know what is happening. Correct? Rockefeller lived, Ronald Reagan lived, APJ Abdul Kalam lived. Everybody lived as long as they were breathing. So if we give attention to breath, which Buddhists also give a lot, we can correct a lot of things in life without any effort. Because when you're agitated, you will find you are breathing very short. So when they studied about the 5 sheaths of existence in the Upanishad, first they are telling about the Annamaya Kosha, the physical. Second is Pranamaya, breath. Third is the Manomaya, mind. Because to directly work with the mind and the vagaries of the mind is extremely difficult. The moment you think you resolve something, the mind will bowl a googly to you, asking you something else. So the easiest way is to go one step and focus more on the breath and learn one pranayama technique or breath awareness, so that you will find deepening of breath, and your life also you will feel a lot of depth in it. That is why breathing is extremely important. Is it okay?
Yeah. I think that's more than expected.
Yeah. Thank you.
You actually have a very nice ability to transcend between the Upanishads, Vedas, a lot of things. Very rarely we come across people with such a repertoire of knowledge. Really very insightful.
Thanks. Continue to bless us. That's enough. All of you, if you bless us, that's more than enough. Very happy to be here.
Any other questions? Since we are coming to the end of the session, I'll definitely share some of the details from Mr. Krishna Prakash to all of you all. in the group, and then again with Rotary Downtown also. We shared with our secretary, and he'll do the needful. Over to the Vice President, Mr. Rotarian Pranjit, if we have anything else on the agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Priya. We had a wonderful session, and I believe everybody had some good insight into what yoga can do for us and how we can benefit from them. Thank you for organizing such a wonderful speaker. And I call the meeting to order off now. And anything else do you need to discuss?
No, it's regarding our clubs. The member, this thing, we'll announce it in the next meeting.
Yeah, that is
the members. Yeah. Okay, and I would like to propose the vote of thanks now to end the meeting. I thank Mr. Krishna Prakash for having spent his valuable time with us. I know the time was short. We didn't get enough time to do a lot of techniques which you wanted to share, and you wanted to do it practically, but we definitely look forward to have you amongst us to give a practical session. I hope all the Rotarians will definitely would want to have this, and Dr. Belagavi, who's and Mr. Professor Ishwaran from our club, they have been in the field, and they have been such a wonderful Rotarians who have served the community. I thank Rotarian Tejaswini from Rotary Downtown and her team. I'm sorry, I'm new, so I'm not addressing too many of the Rotarians from your club, but I thank all the Rotarians from Rotary Downtown and the Rotarians Rotary Rajmahal Vilas for having attended this session and making it a grand success. And anything I have put Srimat Yoga's website. You can anytime connect with Mr. Krishna Prakash. He will definitely be able to clarify and give you a lot of insights about yoga. Let's all stay healthy. Let's all stay safe. And I hope you all enjoyed the program. I thank each and every Rotarian for attending today's program. Over to you, Mr. Sabri. Thanks. So, Mr. Sabrishan.
Yeah. Tejo, can we conclude the meeting unless you have some final words?
They say yoga me bogam. So today we just got an introduction of how we can manage our body and mind through Mr. Krishna Prasad. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to more interaction. On behalf of Rotary Bangalore Downtown, I thank the speaker and the club of Rajmahal Vilas for allowing us to join this meeting. Thanks again.